The first time Captain Elias Vance saw her, she was standing in the ceremonial hall of the Rafthery High Nest, wrapped in gold silks and chains of polished bone. The Rafthery were a warrior race, their diplomacy a strange mixture of ritualized violence and elaborate gift-giving. When Elias's crew had saved one of their fleets from a collapsing star, the Nest Council insisted on rewarding him. At first, he expected jewels, weapons, or some official title. Instead, the High Matron stepped forward and declared, "To the human Elias Vance, rescuer of our kin, we gift one of our most prized daughters, Sareva, daughter of the first clutch. She will serve you in all ways, body, mind, and spirit, for life." The hall roared with approval. Elias froze. Sareva was stunning in an alien way. Tall, her skin patterned with faint opalescent scales, her golden eyes unblinking. Two slender cranial horns curved gracefully backward from her temples. She moved like coiled lightning, but her gaze held a strange softness when it fell on him. It was clear what "serve you in all ways" meant to the Rafthery. It was equally clear that he wanted no part in treating her as property. That night, aboard the Horizon's Reach, Elias spoke gently to her. "You're not my servant," he told her. "And you're not obligated to mate with me or anyone." Her brow creased. "You reject the gift. I'm saying you have freedom. You can choose." She tilted her head in that bird-like way Rafthery did when puzzled. "You are unusual." From then on, Sareva became part of the crew, not as a servant but as a free officer. She learned human ship protocols, took up station duties, and quickly proved her combat skills were unmatched. But though she was always polite and loyal, there was an unspoken tension in her golden eyes, something Elias didn't dare probe. 6 months passed. The Horizon's Reach was patrolling the fringe worlds when the incident happened. They had docked at Port Laskin for resupply. Elias was in his cabin, reviewing reports, when a soft chime sounded at his door. "Enter," he said, expecting his first officer. Instead, Sareva stepped in, her crest feathers slightly raised, an emotional tell among her people. She closed the door behind her. "Is something wrong?" Elias asked. Her eyes locked on his. "Is something wrong with me, human?" she asked slowly. "You have not mated me once since I was gifted to you." Elias blinked, caught completely off guard. "That's what this is about." Her tail flicked sharply, a sign of frustration. "Yes. I was chosen by the High Nest as a worthy mate for you. Yet you ignore my purpose. Among the Rafthery, to refuse mating is to declare the other unfit or undesired." "It's not that I think you're unfit," Elias said, standing. "Sareva, you're incredible. But I don't see you as a possession. I thought giving you space would be respectful." She stared at him in silence, the glow of the cabin lights catching the iridescence of her scales. "Among my people, mating is not a burden. It is trust. To deny it is to deny closeness." Elias ran a hand through his hair, struggling to bridge the cultural gulf. "On Earth, we believe mating should be mutual, not something owed because of a gift." Her crest lowered and she glanced aside. "I thought perhaps I had failed to appeal to you." The raw vulnerability in her voice cut through him. This proud warrior who had stared down plasma fire without flinching was insecure. Before he could reply, the ship's alarms blared. "Captain, to the bridge," came the voice over comms. Elias and Sareva rushed out. The bridge screens lit up with tactical readouts. A Krish raider fleet had emerged from FTL just beyond the station's defense perimeter. "They're targeting the port," his first officer reported. "Shields are already failing." Elias's mind snapped into command mode. Sareva with me to tactical. We'll cut their flanks. They launched in the horizon's reach, weaving through debris and bursts of enemy fire. Sareva manned the dorsal cannons, her movements fast and precise. Every shot she fired struck true, carving through Krish hulls. But during the battle, one enemy corvette broke formation and made a suicide run at them. It hit the Reach's port side, sending the ship spinning. Systems screamed warnings. In the chaos, Sarava's console exploded. Elias turned in time to see her thrown to the deck, her arm bleeding and one horn chipped. Sareva! He was at her side instantly, hauling her up. I am functional, she hissed, grabbing her sidearm. Defend the ship, human. By the time they limped back to the station, the Krish were in retreat. But Sarava's injuries were worse than she admitted. Her blood ran bright silver, staining the medbay sheets. Deeper conflict. While she recovered, Elias visited her daily. They spoke more honestly in those quiet hours than they had in months. I thought I was honoring you, Elias confessed one evening, by not claiming you. But I see now I may have just made you feel unwanted. Her gaze softened. And I thought you saw me as unworthy. In the nest, such things are rarely spoken. We simply act. You're not unworthy, Sareva. You're one of the most capable, brilliant, stubborn people I've ever met. He smiled faintly. And if I ever did want to be with you, it wouldn't be because of a gift. It would be because I chose you. Something shifted in her expression. Relief, maybe even joy. But before either could speak further, the medbay doors burst open. The station commander strode in. Captain Vance, the Krish are regrouping. This time they're bringing a dreadnought. Ending. The second battle was worse. The dreadnought's weapons tore through the station's shields like paper. Civilian evacuation ships were sitting ducks. Elias hatched a desperate plan. The Horizon's Reach would use its experimental gravlance to cripple the dreadnought's core, but to do so, someone had to board the enemy ship and disable its countermeasures. Sareva volunteered without hesitation. You're still recovering, Elias protested. She fixed him with a fierce smile. Trust me, human. As you said, choice matters. I choose this. They went in together, slipping through the dreadnought's maintenance ducts, fighting through Krish boarding parties. At one point, they were cornered in a narrow passage, enemy plasma bolts slicing the air. Sareva lunged forward, shielding Elias with her own body as she returned fire. He felt the heat of a near-miss scorch past his ear. Elias, she shouted, using his name for the first time. If I die here, know that I would have chosen you in all ways. He looked at her, adrenaline and something deeper flooding his chest. Then let's live so I can choose you back. They reached the countermeasure core, set the charges, and escaped moments before the gravlance ripped through the dreadnought's heart. The explosion lit the void like a new sun. Aftermath. Back aboard the Reach, the crew celebrated their survival. Later, Elias found Sareva standing alone in the observation bay, staring at the stars. You never answered my question, she said quietly without turning. What question? Is something wrong with me? Elias stepped beside her, their reflections side by side in the glass. No, Sareva. Nothing is wrong with you. The only thing wrong was me thinking I had to keep my distance to show respect. Her crest feathers rose slightly, a raftery sign of warmth. And now,